Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Twin Cities Con returns to the Minneapolis Convention Center for their 5th year, November 7th through the 9th. Twin Cities Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. There's nothing like Twin Cities Con. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Twin Cities Con is bigger and better than before. Come see from the Star Wars universe Ahmad Best, Rosario Dawson and Giancarlo Esposito, Brendan Fraser, and the cast of The Mummy, WWE Wrestling Hall of Famers Sting and Mick Foley, and the voice actors from the hit Disney series Phineas and Ferb, plus more guests to be announced. 3 days of action-packed fun in the heart of Minneapolis at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Tickets start at $50. Kids tickets are just $10 for the entire weekend. VIP tickets also available, including a 3-day weekend pass, plus some really cool VIP perks. More guests will be announced. Buy your tickets and get more information at TwinCitiesCon.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 66, and Wednesday, sunshine with a high of 83. The enormous crocodile is hungry and on the prowl. Only his jungle friends can stop his secret tricks in this larger-than-life adventure filled with puppets, surprises, and even a dance party in space. Don't miss the U.S. premiere at Children's Theater October 1st through November 23rd. Tickets at childrenstheater.org.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us, share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We're as we're getting into October, which actually, begins tomorrow, we're going to kind of do a lot of, features on some very Halloween-y sort of things. We got a really big month ahead of us. This is kind of what a spooky people are waiting for all year long. And we're finally getting to the point that we can really start, other people are finally joining into what we live 365 days a year. And one of the things that, we talked about last year was Curse of the Vampire Orchestra. They did this stunning sound, score to Nosferatu. And I had my guest who's on tonight, Philip Shorey, on. We talked about what he did there, and he said something that really was exciting to me during that. And he said, next they're going to do Phantom of the Opera. And Phantom of the Opera 1925 is probably one of my favorite films of all time for so many reasons that we're going to talk about tonight. But, the thing about it is that it is the 100th anniversary of the release of this film. And there's so much mystique to it. But the fact that, as we're going to get into here, Philip has composed a score, a brand new score that's going to be presented at the Ted Mann Concert Hall. This is going to be on Friday, October 31st. Some people even call that Halloween. And they're going to do this, and we're going to talk about this because this is such a creative endeavor that we want to make sure that people have the opportunity to get tickets tonight. Philip, welcome to GhostBox Radio.
Hey, Greg. Thank you.
So let's just kind of get started here. I mean, last time that you were on, we really kind of went into a great deal of detail about your background and about wanting to, be a composer from an early age, a film composer from an early age. Here we are now. And, I know we talked about this last time, but it really, these silent films must have really had quite an impact on your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, I got excited about film scoring through Dracula, the 1931 Bela Lugosi version, and just seeing what the Kronos Quartet with a Philip Glass score could do with such an old movie. And then from there, I thought I'd work my way backwards. I went into silent movies. I got the book Film Sound, which has an incredible opening chapter about the origins of film scoring in the silent movies, and I just got hooked, and started at the beginning and worked my way up to current times.
That's great. I mean, and so with this, I mean, this is one of those films that, like I said at the top here, this is like one of my favorite films of all time, and there's so many reasons to love it. But I have to ask, because you're going to be screening the film with your brand new composition, what version of the film did you use? I know that we're looking at you know what I'm getting at, right? I mean, because this 1925
I was going to ask you, because you say it's one of your favorite films of all time. I was going to ask you, which version?
It's tough because once you get into the 1929 version, that's the best quality. I mean, me being a Blu-ray kind of guy, I ended up getting the BFI release. I have a couple releases of it. I ended up getting the BFI release of this because I really wanted a nice, clean look to it.
Yeah.
And I think they actually have a pretty decent version of the 1925. I mean, as far as you can get, there isn't.
Yeah.
If I don't think there's any actual 35 millimeter version of the 1925 film, is there? I don't remember off the top of my head.
From my understanding, it's pretty beat up, chopped up, and really hard to actually define by today's standards what was the 1925 version, because what we have today isn't even really the 1925 version either. So it's Universal didn't think this was going to last, so they didn't take very good care of it.
Isn't that something? And it is, and even before its 1925 premiere, it was chopped down quite a bit, if I'm not mistaken, because it didn't do too well for what lack of a better term, test audiences back in the day. Right.
Yeah. So to answer your question, we're keeping in step with what's happened in years past with the Phantom of the Opera silent film. One of my missions as a composer and just a lover of silent movies is to bring it before a new audience, not just for film buffs and nostalgia lovers, but for anybody, a modern audience. And so my I was looking at both versions of it, and I had a direction I wanted to take the music. So part of it was which version tells the story the best, and then I did a little more digging and research and just saw how the 25 version, it was hard. It was hard for a lot of audiences to follow. It wasn't super linear, which for a silent movie is even harder. So I went with the 29 version. Mm-hmm. However, you wouldn't have that without the 25 version.
Literally.
And I loved the ending of the 25 version. And a lot of people really that was their biggest complaint about the 1929 version is how it ended. It had a better cut. It was a little easier to follow, and the imagery was better, and all of that. But then the ending, it was just abrupt, and I'm in agreement with that. And so I actually just that last honeymoon sequence, I just added it. I needed it. So actually my version is unlike any other version too. It's a 1929, which obviously has the 25, and then it has the original 1925 ending as well. So yep, that's what I did.
And you can do that though, can't you? I mean, that's just it. You can do that.
Well, why not? I mean, the whole
Why not?
film is in public domain, and
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, with a little editing software or whatever. I mean, we also alter the credits just a tiny bit. We put my name in there. I do that on all my films, original modern score by Philip Shorey. So it's like, whatever. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and we're just having fun with it. And the goal here for me, one of the goals at least is just to like show the best cut that will have the best appeal for someone who's watching the Phantom of the Opera silent film for the very first time.
Now, the next question about what you're showing here, are you including the color footage?
Yes.
Okay, I would too, quite frankly.
It's
and
beautiful.
Stunning. Yeah,
especially
right.
The masquerade. I mean, how can you not?
Right, exactly. I mean, and I figured you would have. I mean, that makes the most sense. But my gosh, I mean, this is just one of those great moments in film history. So early on in film history, but one of those great moments. And it just, and as we talked about last year, that Phantom of the Opera isn't necessarily a horror film. It's more of a romance. I mean, yes, I know. I mean, what I love about Phantom of the Opera, Philip, is that the sets are so beautiful. It's shot so well, and Lon Chaney is absolutely. I mean, it's his defining role as well. I mean, it's just, and that part is scary. He is scary as Eric in that. Just incredible.
Yeah. No, I went to visit the actual Paris Opera House before writing the music for this movie. I really wanted to. Some people get into like type. What do they call it? Character acting or something.
Yep.
I do that with movies. Like I really want to embrace it, get into it, get underneath it as a composer, go on site, get my hands dirty, and I mean, just the step inside that grand entry at the Paris Opera House, and it gave me ideas for what to write this music, how to write this music for it, and I guess one of the things I'll just kind of, you probably wonder about this, but one of the things that I drew from the tour of the Paris Opera House was how apparently it's built with an iron skeleton, not wood. And because of that, I went to Bauer Brothers and sampled a whole bunch of metal and iron and steel and used that as a backdrop in like the percussion for the whole sound, like underbelly of the Paris Opera House. So you get this more of like iron sound that there's like metal around. Of course, it's a lot of stone too, but yeah. So I just wanted to really capture that nuance.
I think too, which is a great point to all that. And I was going to ask you this too, because Phantom of the Opera has this amazing sort of like, the themes are so well defined throughout the film, right? That you have, the opera house where it could be kind of, jolly, depending, really beautiful, depending on maybe the numbers on stage or something. But then there's always that undercurrent of Eric, visiting the opera house. You also have then, the under opera house. It's not catacombs. It's this whole other world that Eric completely controls. I mean, that has to be like you're a kid in a playground with those type of differences throughout the film.
Yeah, no, that's a really good insight. So typically I do a lot of music that is going to present a character before you see him on stage, or on screen. Like, the vampire's coming because you can feel it, you can sense it in the music, right? Well, one of the hardest moments for Phantom of the Opera, and it was actually kind of what I built the entire Phantom vibe from. He's got a lot of themes and a lot of different things, but of course, but when I came to the chandelier scene, where there's unlike the 1925 version, something I also really liked about the 29 version was that you had these Faust excerpts that were actually, you're in the opera, they're playing Faust, you're listening to it. They would have had it recorded. We're doing it live. We're actually doing the original Faust excerpts in sync with the orchestra on screen, diegetically. And so you have this like build up, say, of Carlotta, who's like singing her opera piece, the Jewel song, and then the chandelier comes crashing down. How do you build suspense and ominous, like moods that it's coming? It's going to feel kind of out of place unless you like kind of ramp up to it just a tiny bit, so that's where I had to get a little more creative with like some pads and a dissonant eeriness that can really hover over anything that's happening throughout the film, as like he's creeping around, he's there, he's here. It's not melodic, it's not tonal, it's just this like aura it can play in any situation. That's different than what I did with Nosferatu, where I had like a theme that could kind of pulsate, up to the climax or something.
Now, you were kind enough to give me tickets to Nosferatu last year, and I couldn't do it at the last minute because I had what you could probably call a nervous breakdown because there was so much going on because of Halloween. Man,
yeah.
I gave the tickets to Adam, who works the show here. He just was like, the way he described it, I've been kicking myself ever since for not going. I should have just done it, because everybody who I've talked to about this have said that this is that was so much fun. It was so good. It was so wonderful. And Phantom is just going to be just incredible. I'm so excited for you with this, because it's like I said, it's such a favorite film of mine that I just can't. I don't know if I can go and see it, because we're going to probably be doing a radio show that night.
I'd give you comps again if you can make it. Yeah, no, it's Halloween night. It's a contested evening, but it's for the committed. It's for the real lovers of Phantom of the Opera, right?
It's going to be incredible. I just want to quickly run through this again for people who may not know that it's Curse of the Vampire Orchestra is putting on the Phantom of the Opera. It's a centennial celebration of the 1925 silent film. It is going to be Friday, October 31st. It's from 8 to 10:30. It's going to be at the Ted Mann Concert Hall. I have in my stuff that I've shared, I put the ticket link in there, and I was just can they get tickets going through the Curse of the Vampire website as well? Or
they can get tickets through the link I sent you, through Leo Presents, or they can get tickets through our ticket engine, which is TicketWeb. The main thing, you go to curseofthevampire.com. And we're on tour. We're actually doing it the next night in Chicago, and we're doing it the weekend before, which maybe you want to make it up there for that. We're doing 2 shows on October 25th at 3 and 8 p.m. in Brainerd at a little kombucha bar. It won't be like the grand spectacle of a full 65-piece orchestra, but we'll have a 30-piece orchestra crammed in that metal club, and it's a very tight, intimate space, so it's a very unique experience. It'll be a lot of fun. And then it's also, we're showing it with my score, not with a live orchestra, but at the Alma Big River Theater in Wisconsin, on Lake Pepin, and that one I'll be there for a brief interview after the film. So it's a little tour that we're doing, and we felt like we needed to do it because it's a 100-year anniversary, like you said, of the film, and there's a lot of demand and a lot of people excited about it, and nobody else is doing it that I can find up here in Minnesota at least. Nobody, and that's like cool for me, but kind of shocking. I just saw that the Los Angeles Opera is doing it Halloween night, and it's massive, and they have like a massive following, and people expect it, and I'm like, what happened here? So, I hope we do justice and really do something that our city will really enjoy.
What I want to do is I need to take a break here. When we come back, I want to continue talking about the score that Philip put together for this 100th anniversary screening of Phantom of the Opera on October 31st. I want to talk a little bit more about the movie. Anything you want to add, put it in the comments. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. Now, kick off Halloween season with Ghost Stories and Beyond at Billy's Bar and Grill in Anoka tomorrow, October 1st at 6:30 p.m. Join Char Savoy and myself as Char relives the most terrifying paranormal investigation of her life inside the infamous Villisca Axe murder house. She was there in 2011, and this was, you're going to hear it yourself. She's going to reveal chilling details backed by real audio, video, and photos that you're going to have to see to believe. Tickets are just $10, and yes, Billy has half-price burgers that night. Start spooky season right, October 1st at Billy's in Anoka. I'm not one to try to guarantee anything here, but you will not be disappointed by that. I am talking with Philip Shorey. We're talking about Curse of the Vampire Orchestra. What a fantastic thing that this is. And on October 31st at the Ted Mann Concert Hall in Minneapolis, they're going to do Phantom of the Opera, the silent film, with live orchestra with a score composed by Philip Shorey. And Philip, I want to say you went out to the opera house in Paris. I think I can come on relatively even footing with you here and say that I was actually on stage 28 once. And that is where the set for the film had lasted for about 95 years before they tore down the soundstage.
In Universal Studios?
Uh-huh.
Wow. How did that happen?
How did they tear it down?
No, how did you get on that stage?
Well, first of all, you looked a little confused. Did you know that set survived? The Opera House set survived?
I had read it somewhere. I have a number of books. I actually got a book when I was doing all my research. I didn't memorize the book.
Oh, no.
But I have a, I could show it to you or get it. I don't know where it went. But it's like a pretty rare book, and it has like the entire screenplay of the making of the silent film. And I had a lot of questions, especially about like the sheet music in that you see Eric playing on the organ and like where it came from, and because we play it, so you'll hear that organ music that is actually notated, and it's weird because it's not actually a weird key signature. So for the music nerds, you know what I'm talking about. So it's weird. Anyway, but yeah, so I did extensive amount of research. So I've heard about that. Tell me more.
Well, it just that it stayed around because it was the same set used in the Claude Rains version. It was also the set was in Dracula in 1931. When they're at the opera, it's the same set, and so it was always along the sides of this because they built stage 28 for Phantom of the Opera, and there's always the opera set. Like the boxes and stuff were always just along the side of the stage. When I went out to Universal Studios in 1996, we took the tram, and they're driving around, and it's right by Cabot Cove where Murder, She Wrote would be shot, and they were shooting something over there, and the tram driver was just like, "We're going to take you into a stage. We don't normally get to do this, but no one's in there shooting today, so we're going to take you in." And they take us in, and it's the Phantom stage. And the tram driver, she's just like, "Well, let's hope that we don't run into the ghost of Lon Chaney," that sort of thing. And I wasn't into the paranormal at that point, so I'm just kind of like, whatever. And I had been really into Phantom of the Opera earlier, and then it kind of waned. So the time I was there, I was just kind of like, "Oh, that's kind of nice. Too bad I wasn't, in here 12 years earlier or something when I really was, into it." But it's still a memory, and it was incredible. And then, like I said, I think it was like 2018, 19, maybe 2020, they decided to make way for a new ride at Universal Studios. So they tore down the stage, and what they said was that they were going to take apart the set and put into storage, and it'd be like maybe toured around the country. Well, no one's ever heard about this set again. No one's ever heard anything. And people I've talked to, experts on Universal Studio, including the great great granddaughter of one of the Lemleys, who does a lot of videos on Universal. She's just like, "Don't even get me started on it." So it's history that was surprised that it survived that long, but unfortunately it's gone now. I think it's gone completely. But
Wow.
your music kind of pays homage to all that, because you're allowing people who, like you said, maybe have never seen this film before, are going to enjoy it for the first time. What is there anything that you are just like really excited for people to see in the film, that you're just like, not even about the film, but about how you scored it?
Oh, so much,
I bet.
actually.
I bet.
I guess I'll touch on two things regarding that. The first thing is that I feel like this score is actually, it's really derived from the book. And that's a big thing for me, because you're really glued to the Broadway musical culturally, as like, this is Phantom of the Opera. But no, actually, there was a book, and this is the original adaptation of that book. And there's an actual full soundtrack in the book, like a list, not just Faust, but other Gounod and other composers that are listed in different moments that strike a certain emotion. And so I went back and I made a kind of a list of some of those pieces and where they land in the story, and derived a bit of my composition from those melodies. Like, so for example, the Funeral for a Marionette is a famous one. And nowadays, thanks to Hitchcock, it's more comedic. But back in that day, in late 1800s, it was a little more creepy, right? I mean, it's still creepy, but it was more creepy. And so because it's comedic but it's also creepy, I figured out, like, where am I going to use this? So I derived a bit of a theme for the businessmen. Here you have the Phantom holding the marionette strings in the background, right? But I'm using this theme, and it's not, completely the same. I did my own variation theme, whatever of it. But you get the idea, and it's just like, now it's comedic because it should be comedic. These businessmen, they think they know what they're doing, but they don't. They're laughing about this whole Phantom ghost, but they shouldn't be laughing. So yeah, so I just really love that my score. I feel it's just paying homage more to the book than anything else. And then the other thing that I just really love is that and this is actually probably the reason I originally wanted to write the music for the Phantom. I mean, it's such big shoes to fill, such a massive undertaking. Who in the right mind would redo perfection, arguably from the Broadway musical, right? And I just felt like I landed upon telling the story in a new way, and it actually ended up being more of the original way. Yeah. And that is from the perspective of Christine. And what we get out of the opera, with Andrew Lloyd Webber, as awesome as it is it really, as we know, we're not sure if we should be cheering for the Phantom or not, right? We're not sure because of his background. We feel bad for him. And if you go into the backstory of what was going on, it is kind of a scandalous story between Andrew Lloyd Webber and I forget her name, but the lead opera singer. And so he did a good job of kind of portraying himself, I think, as more of a victim. And that's kind of where I would land at first, creepy composer writing music in his basement. Like I resonate with that pretty easily. However, then the more I dug into it, I realized, oh man, like poor Christine, I mean, here she is, like being abused, manipulated, and she's an artist that has dreams, and he takes advantage of that. And so actually I wrote the score more from the perspective that of the victim, of Christine. Yeah. And going through the trauma of being manipulated and traumatized, and then more of the perspective of the Phantom being more of a monster and more of a villain than you get from the Broadway musical. So it is actually, in this version, much more of a Halloween show than the Broadway musical. Is much more romantic, like you said at the top of the post. So I think that's a new telling of the story. I think it is the original telling of the story. It's definitely what the silent film was portraying, being the original adaptation of the book, the closest version of all the adaptations to the original book. So I'm really just happy to show people this classic story in a new way.
Hey, you read my mind, because I was going to ask you if we should have sympathy for Eric, without trying to give away too much about, I mean, I think people generally know the plot, but still we want people to be excited and see stuff. But I mean, the thing, at least, and I was kind of wondering what you thought, because when I said originally at the top of the show, when I said it's kind of, there's a romantic element to it, you kind of smirked at me a little bit, and you do think about it, and in the Universal film version, I mean, Eric has a violent past. And he also, in his underworld, under the opera house, he has rooms of torture, and he doesn't think twice about killing for his own means. And you're right. And the thing about Carlotta is that she is like abused by all sides, really. I mean, maybe not her love interest, but I mean, she's not in a great situation throughout the entire film, I don't think. I mean, it just but that's kind of the interesting thing about it. There's a lot of tragedy in this film.
Mm-hmm. Well, you also have to think about the tragedy of the people who died from the chandelier crashing on them.
And a lot of people don't. You're absolutely right. And they're open for business the next night, it seems like.
Yeah, and then the poor guy that gets hung.
Yeah,
and the other guys that get poisoned, and I mean, the list goes on. Here's it's a tough question, because of course you got to feel bad for Eric. I mean, he had a bad past, and one thing that every version can agree with is don't be mean to children; they'll turn into monsters.
Right.
And the thing about Eric is that he has some off ramps that he refuses to take. Right, mm-hmm. Like. For the moment before the mask gets lifted, Christine is into him. I mean, she's creeped out, and she's been abducted, but she listens to his music, and she's like whoa, I like this. And even the music that we play in this is the original music from the silent film, and it's not super creepy. It's derived from Mozart's one of his operas, and it's triumphant, and she's into this. And then it's like she wants to be let in, let me see who you are.
Yeah.
And it's because of the abuse that's happened to him. He won't let her in. He can't trust anybody, right? And so he's never felt true love, selfless love. So he doesn't know how to give it, right? And it's tragic. It's so sad. But this is an off-ramp where we're like, if he would just open that door just a little bit, healing could begin and he could learn to trust again. And man, I mean, that's the off-ramp right there. And these off-ramps happen a number of times, and then he just doesn't give. Now, something that I really appreciate about the 1925 ending is that in that honeymoon sequence, you see Raoul wanting to kiss her, and they've just gotten married, and he has every right to kiss her, and she loves him, he loves her, right? And it's a little different than the musical. Raoul is a little more of a hero in the silent film. Mm-hmm. But she pulls back, and I really like that honesty, because she has now been abused, and she has been traumatized, and she doesn't know if she can trust as well, and this cycle will continue. This cycle of abuse and mistrust, and then trauma, and it happens in real life, and I've been very close to people who have gone through this, and this was something that I wanted to actually write for them, and this is what we will do during the show, is we'll dedicate this to people who have gone through trauma and abusive relationships, and but it will take Raoul, in my opinion, someone who will love her selflessly, and you will see how he does that in the film, to continuously pursue her and continuously love her, even when she doesn't love him back in the best way, when she pulls away. I mean, he just saved her life, and she's pulling away from him. But it's understandable, because it's real. Trauma is real, and it's going to take a long time for her to find the healing through that selfless love that he offers. And in a lot of ways, I think it's spiritual. I don't think it's, I don't think Raoul's got the ability to completely by himself heal Christine, by his love alone. But it is still that concept of selfless love. I will give you, and I will give to you, and I will care for you, and I will walk with you through this trauma. I think that's a beautiful message, and one that is very much missed in the Broadway musical. So that was a message that I felt compelled to, it just compelled me to want to write the music for this film.
And if I may add to that, I think what's also incredible too is that she was willing to give up Raoul for Eric. I think we could say that she fell in love with Eric sight unseen, based on his music, his love for music, his understanding of music, which really gives this, where you're right. It is hard to be like, should we have sympathy for Eric? Because he is somebody who not only just loved beautiful music. I can love beautiful music, but he knew how to create beautiful music. He was much deeper into that, which is what she connected with. And you kind of wonder as well, with Raoul married to her, that's something that she's always going to miss, because he's not there. And that's truly one of her love signals, is to be able to share music. And that's probably gone as well now.
I don't know. I mean, they say, let's flee to England. I have a hope that means you can maybe sing in a different opera house in England.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think her career ends per se, but I think that there's a hole now, because Raoul doesn't understand music the way that she had been.
Sure.
Loving what Eric had been, even from behind a mirror, had been, telling her. And like I said, she was willing to totally give up Raoul and literally blindly follow this man that she had never seen. because he promised her a lot of good things, but I think that music is like that underlying piece to it.
Yeah. No, I mean, as a composer, I can resonate with that, but I can also, I also question the narrative that we grew up with, thanks to Disney, which was, just follow your heart and everything will work out.
Yeah.
Because clearly, with Christine, when she follows her heart, it does not work out.
No, it does not. It really doesn't. Philip, I'm gonna need to get another break in here. When we come back, let's continue this conversation. Once again, we are talking about Curse of the Vampire Orchestra doing an absolutely fantastic live orchestra version of the Phantom of the Opera. Let's talk more about that. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. And we are having this, I'm really enjoying this conversation tonight with composer Philip Shorey. We're talking about, this event that's coming up on October 31st, which is the Phantom of the Opera, the silent film with live orchestra. This is played out by Curse of the Vampire Orchestra. We talked to them last year about Nosferatu. This is going to be at the Ted Mann Concert Hall that's 2128 4th Street South, Minneapolis. And you can get, I'll have the ticket information on all of my socials so that you can go and pick up tickets, because it's only one night in Minneapolis and the Twin Cities. You do not want to miss this. I don't want to miss it. Now, Philip, the question I have to ask is, who the hell is Carlotta? I was thinking through the break that I had called Christine Carlotta at one point. And, when you just make small mistakes like that, it kind of stays with me. It's just like, Carlotta, who's Carlotta? Like, as soon as I said it, I'm like, that's not her name. What the hell's going on around here? I've seen the film, Phil. I may not know their names, but I'm kind of.
It's not as bad as Lord of the Rings. I'll give that to you. Sauron, Saruman, Eric. I mean, it's just there's some hard ones.
I couldn't tell you one
there.
I couldn't even tell you the guy what's the guy's name who says Precious all the time. I can't even think of his name at the moment. So that's okay. That's all right. Go. I want to go back to something. We're in our final segment here, so we're gonna get through some stuff. But I wanted to ask you. You touched on this in the last segment. The idea of doing a live presentation of this. And there are, not only is there music that is the score that you are presenting, but as you said, there is music within the film that is actually being played by characters or meant to be seen and unseen. I mean, I suppose if you're watching it, it's pretty clear to differentiate. But was there a lot of thought given to that, or is that just something that's pretty simple? I don't know how that stuff works.
Oh no, that was super hard. It was worth every second. But no, I worked with an opera singer who did one of her papers on the Faust, so she knew it frontwards and backwards, and we collaborated to match the moments from the film with the moments in the opera musically. And sometimes it was pretty easy, like this is the finale, okay, and then or this is the Jewel song, or this is the spinning song, But then we had to figure out like what moment in the opera, and then we had to go into the score and find that moment from the recording in the actual musical score. And then I had to rescore it for my arrangement and orchestra. And then to go further, then we had to like tempo map it so that, because we don't do this like an 8-piece band that's watching a silent movie and kind of improvising along. Like we're doing this actually more like a modern Hollywood film where we're playing to a click or a variable click in this case. And it's synced up perfectly, exactly as intended by the composer. Wow. So the mouth thing even has to match, and I'm gonna go on a limb and say we got the opera mouthing to match about 95% of the time, because you're also dealing with like a fluctuating like frame rate that isn't always precise, and then so to add to that, actually one of the Faust cues is so fast because of this frame rate issue. I mean, it's never been meant to play that fast, but we have to play it that fast in order to be in sync with the string players in the pit that you see on the screen. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, it was just a major job to try to sync up the Faust excerpts with the picture on the screen. Super fun, super crazy, a challenge that everybody in the orchestra typically laughs or cries over.
And I can imagine that it's, and I don't mean to belittle this, but I can imagine the payoff is for a relatively small group of people, probably, who may not be able to, like, I wouldn't know watching it, but that doesn't matter because it wouldn't have been right if you didn't do it.
I mean, we for the fans that really know Faust and that really know Phantom, they'll know. And that makes a big difference for me, like as a fan as well. And it's like those Easter eggs, it's like, this is for the diehard fans. And you can't just gloss over this. And this is probably one of the main reasons why most people do the 25 version, is because they don't have to deal with Faust.
Oh, sure.
Quite so much.
Sure. No, but
we just took it. We just did it. And it, I don't know. It was a lot of fun, and it's a lot of work, but it was fun.
And I want to say that's and I'll have to go back and check some of my Blu-rays on this, but I have to say that I feel like that when you're getting to some of these studios that are doing their score for these films, they do seem to gloss over it with more of like just more music over those sections.
So do some kind of opera-esque piece,
right?
Like Swan Lake or something. Like
you're right.
They will just do like an opera-like thing.
Yeah.
But they won't actually do like what's there. And that was 1929. That would have been recorded as well. So you're dealing with like two separate things here. In 25, right? It would have been a little more improvised, and it would have been like a piano or an organ or something improvised in 1925. But then by the time 1929 hit, they were, especially in that cut, experimenting with recorded audio. So they recorded that. And actually, they recorded some dialogue as well, which I took out of the film and have it in the tracks as well. And so we have some of that original dialogue in there with the music too. Yeah.
That's what I love about this film. There's such a history to the different versions and stuff. When putting this together and putting Nosferatu together and all of your works, I mean, do you get, and I don't expect for a minute that it weighs you down per se, but do you ever feel like the enormity of what you're trying to do in terms of the legacy that's attached to this? Does that get to you ever?
The big shoes, the fact that Andrew Lloyd Webber did it perfectly, the history, it's daunting, and I'm a finisher person. Like I just take one baby step at a time, I just create a plan, just stay to the process. But I would say that driving, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's hours. Hours is like an understatement. Days, months, years. I mean, it was an incredible undertaking. But the driving factor is really the people that I hope can be touched by the message and the meaning of the film, in terms of victims of abuse and trauma and this kind of stuff. Like that was kind of the when I get those aha moments, it's like, what's to separate me from another 8-piece band or another orchestra doing this film? Why me? Why should I do it? And it takes that spark of like, this is for an audience of one. This is for that person that has come through a traumatic, abusive relationship, and they need an entire auditorium and a show made just for them, that they're seen and they have their life matters, and even when the courts try to silence them, they're heard and their voice matters, and just all of that. It's just that, like, we're going to celebrate those who have gone through trauma. Like your warriors, your heroes, push through. There's healing on the other side of the tunnel, And
we talk about some of the enormity, but at the same time, because you're like, how am I different than anyone else? But at the same time, the way we talk about it and everything, it's almost in a way is like, who else could possibly do it other than you? And I mean that in the sense that you got to start by loving the source material. And I'm not saying no one loves the source material, but you've just demonstrated to us the lengths you'll go to, and not only because it's the right thing to do, it's because that's what you love about this film. That's the stuff that you love. And if you're gonna go the extra 40 miles to do so, and that people are going to enjoy that. And I think right then and there, that speaks volumes for what this production is going to be. And I taken a look on the Curse of the Vampire website, which is curseofthevampire.com, and looking at the people that are part of this orchestra, and you just can see these are the right people to be a part of this. I mean, it's so it's really cool. That's all I'm going to say about it. I really hope that people decide to go trick or treat early, and then take in this really probably once in a lifetime experience in the Twin Cities. I mean, right? I mean, you're not going to like Nosferatu. You weren't going to bring it back up again. When you were done, you were done. I remember you mentioning that.
You're only going to have the 100-year anniversary of the original adaptation of the famous book on Halloween night once.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a Friday night. It's Halloween. It's Phantom of the Opera. I don't know. What are you going to do? Wait for the 200th anniversary? I don't know if Philip's going to be around. I
don't know. One of my kids might pick it up for the 150th, or maybe, I don't know if I'll make it that far. Maybe I'll make it to 150. Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, you won't with that attitude. That's for certain. But no, seriously though, this is exciting, and I got to check my calendar about Brainerd, because I do not want to miss this, and I think I'm going to be doing radio that night, because we always do like a 4-hour presentation on Halloween, but we'll see how that goes. But as we're running out of time, I do want to quickly once again say The Phantom of the Opera, the silent film with live orchestra presentation. It's a centennial celebration of the 1925 silent film, accompanied by Curse of the Vampire Orchestra. Friday, October 31st. It's going to be starting at 8 at the Ted Mann Concert Hall in Minneapolis. It looks like it's $36.31 to get in. That is not a real expensive evening, that's for sure. That's a great price. I really like that.
Yeah, we try. I want to keep it affordable, not just for people who can go to Orchestra Hall and they can afford it, but just for anybody as much as possible.
Well, and you bring up a good point. I mean, we just have about less than a minute left, but I mean, you bring up a good point. Going to see something like this might get more people to go to more concerts and experience more stuff, or follow what you are all doing. And this could be the gateway, which would be pretty cool as well, I think.
I hope so. Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you. I mean, I appreciate just I love this movie, and I love the art form and the medium, and it's just an honor, a total honor to be able to do this. And like you heard last time, I'm not like coming up from some pedigree that's like prestigious or whatever. Yeah, I'm kind of a normal guy, local artist and composer, and it's just an absolute total unexpected privilege to be able to present this incredible film for my city.
Absolutely. Well said. And I also enjoy just to be able to talk about the film. There's not many people I can talk about it with. So someone who knows so much about it. Once again, folks, please go and check out. It's The Phantom of the Opera. It is the silent film with live orchestra. I'll put the links all over the place. Philip, thank you so very much. What a great conversation tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been. We'll be back tomorrow. Everyone, have a good night.